Hello Libra, welcome to your 2020 prediction video. So dear Libras, I'm filming this as the moon is in an air sign in Aquarius, so I felt like it was appropriate energy to speak with you air signs. So with your 2020 prediction reading here, this 2020 prediction in some ways extends purpose-wise into the next 10 years, the next decade, because we are stepping into the next decade. So although the energy will shift and will be flexible, I believe what comes through here, purpose-wise, will remain constant, especially over the next decade. So Libra, take a couple deep breaths, get yourself relaxed and centered here. I'm keeping it pretty simple here with a Celtic cross. I'm just going to use the one tarot deck today. All right, Libra. The center of your reading, we have death. Now, don't get scared. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the tarot, 2020. This card showing up in the center, in the area of your soul purpose. This is a pretty strong energy. It's a call to undergo transformation, to completely shift out. Libra. If you've still been holding on to relationships that haven't been healthy, if you've still been holding on to toxic work environment that hasn't been healthy, to daily habits, diet habits, all of those things that haven't been healthy. Death is coming in here to completely wipe those things out. So there is a very strong indication here of 2020 especially being this period of just cleansing and wiping out unnecessary things, habits, relationships, tools that you no longer need, that no longer help you, that no longer serve. And I feel like in some ways death is indicating getting a little bit closer and getting a little bit more knowledgeable about the afterlife, Libra. So some of you might be finding yourself studying the afterlife a bit more. Interesting. So Temperance is showing up here in the area of the challenge. The challenge here, Libra, is going to be finding balance. And it's a little ironic since you are the sign of the scales, or your symbol is the scales. And you're all about finding balance and trying to be the middle woman or middle man. But that might be really challenging, especially with this death-like energy. Trying to mix the old life with the new, trying to mix your old purpose with your new purpose is not going to be easy. And it won't be the most healing for you. So you want to try to avoid mixing the past with your present and future too much, okay? It may be a little harder to balance your energy when it comes to especially your physical energy. How much energy you have to, really accomplish your tasks. So be easy with yourself. And yeah, we have the Five of Pentacles showing up down here at the root, Libra. So in 2020, there could be a lot of this feeling of inner struggle. And this does feel more like, especially in this position, Libra, it feels more like an inner struggle, inner turmoil, not outer so much. The key is to not let your inner become your outer, become material form or reality. So there is a calling to really heal and acknowledge these parts of yourself that have been feeling a lack of something, a lack of self-worth, if you've been feeling a lack of preservation, a lack of value, the lack of partnership even. Those feelings of lack are really coming up here. And what, is making you feel just uncomfortable and cold? Those things are really wanting to be healed. And in order to be healed, they have to be surfaced. In the recent past, we have the Eight of Pentacles showing up. So a lot of work. A lot of effort going on here right into January 2020. And you might find yourself with a lot of responsibility just simply trying to deal with this, what we just talked about. This really does speak of putting in a lot of time and effort and skill into the mysteries of the transformation, the healing, or even afterlife affairs and knowledge. Some of you might be finding yourself getting into a job or business that deals with death, like working at a morgue. Mortuary, you know what I'm trying to say, Libra. So that could be showing up. Let's see what your present card is. Queen of Wands, yes. Heading into the new year, into your beautiful new decade. You have the Queen of Wands here on your side. At the tip top. Which is beautiful because I feel like this is saying You're going to be very much a light, is what I'm feeling with this, Libra. You're going to feel very much a light, and there is going to be a feeling of empowerment that is coming through all of this, you know, healing and knowledge and transformation. There's a feeling with the Queen of Wands of discovering your place in 2020. And how you can help yourself by delegating more. And by even specifically delegating by charging your spirit guides to help you. You know, getting more acquainted with spirit and loved ones passed on, ancestors even, and calling upon them to help you. That feels pretty strong here. And I feel like there's, for a lot of you, there's a strong female presence. A woman, you know, an older woman who can help aid you. Who might be coming to you as a spirit guide, or in reality, and offering wisdom and empowering you. We have the Knight of Swords showing up in your near future, Libra. So nice to see your air element reflected here. There might be a little bit of resistance with this new exploration into darker matters, you know, your ancestry and the afterlife and all that. Some resistance coming through later in 2020. You might just be, I feel like essentially Libra, it's you that might be resisting some of this. Maybe having to ward off some negative entity, negative influence that is trying to plague your mind and take away your peace. And with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Swords, you're being empowered to take charge and get rid of it. Get rid of that energy. And I feel like you can do that by not just your will here, the strong warrior willpower of the Knights, but with your element. Work with your own element and what it represents. Speak. You know, use your words. Use that sort of truth to cut down the obstacle or dark negative entity that is trying to overwhelm you. Your personal power is going to be here with the Page of Cups in 2020. So really keeping yourself open to the ebbs and flow, to the ebb and flow of energy, I feel like with this. Keeping yourself as open as a child is. Open to learning, open to hearing and learning what the other world, what spirit wants to convey to you, especially. Your personal power is going to really lie, Libra, in 2020 with a lot of listening. Just a lot of listening. Being the page, being the novice, being the apprentice. And soaking things up like a sponge, I feel like is what the page is saying for you. Even the mysteries that death is presenting. Now, obviously, like we talked about with the knight up here, you don't want it to go overboard. You don't want to feel like you're drowning. You know, you don't want to get to absorbing that much. But you'll know when and if you really have to stand up for yourself or use that sort of truth to cut out whatever negative energy is there, trying to leech itself. Others around you, ooh, you have strength. That's beautiful. This showed up either in the same position or I believe right above the card that was in the Aquarius reading. So you might check out the Aquarius reading, Libra. So others around you, either Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries could be showing up real strong here. Yeah, there's another Aries energy here. So Sagittarius energy. The Sagittarius energy could be a little bit more challenging for you in 2020. But the Leo energy looks to be a little bit more empowering, offering you some instinctual wisdom, Libra, learning something about your own instincts that you have forgotten, perhaps relying on a specific instinctive sense, so that could be like enhancing your third eye, your literally your eyesight, or your sense of smell or sound, frequency, vibration. There's something there about picking up your senses really strongly, and that a particular fire sign especially helping you pick up and learn and tune into your own instinctual frequency and senses there. So that's really unique. I like that. Not what I was expecting exactly, but that's interesting. So in the area of hopes, fears, wishes, we have the Five of Cups. Libra. A fear of lack is coming up again, just as it did in the Five of Pentacles here. So the fear of lack, the fear of losing, the fear of going into the unknown with death being here as well. These three cards speak of this uncomfortable feeling of just going through transformation. I feel like a lot of you Libras are in for a bunch of start and stop, and it just might feel in 2020 like there's a bunch of endings, that nothing really lasts. But what I like about with the Knight of Swords here too is it's a reminder here for you that even though there might be a lot of start and stop, and it may seem like the endings are just more potent than anything. It's an adventure. Knights love adventure. They're all about adventures and the excitement of them. So try to keep that view when you're faced with some of this heaviness, you know. I do feel like some of you have a strong hope that for some of you, you know, it's a relationship will come back, or a relationship will heal. But then there's like this underlining fear, Libra, I'm getting of, and blockage, I should say, maybe fear / blockage of not wanting it to heal, not wanting it to come back because, well, you know, it's not something you need back. It's old energy. It's old, it's old damaged goods. And there's like that energy again of just kind of start and stop and want, but then not want. And so just kind of be aware of that. I know, Libra, some of this sounds pretty intense, and some of it may be, but it can present itself in many forms, in many ways. You're making room, Libra, you're making room for someone else and for more life. You have to give death, give an end to things or certain relationships and what have you, because you want to make room for the new life. And that's what 2020 is trying to tell you. And wow, look, so your last card here is the Empress. Yeah, Libra, so this is a card of life right here. Empress is pregnant. She has the heart. She has the sign of Venus here. You know, wow. This is a beautiful, beautiful way to end your 2020 prediction reading here. So I feel like there is a beautiful rebirth at the end of all these endings and transformation and constant adjustments and all that. The Empress is saying there's a big rebirth, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of blessings, a lot of offers or opportunities, gifts even, Libra, that come through all at once. It's interesting because you're kind of dealing, it seems like in 2020, with some pretty like extreme energy going from, you know, very low or a very starting at a mindset that is all about lack, starting in a place of complete lack, and then boom, you move up to Empress, where it's all about abundance and success and things flourishing and relationships flourishing, you know. So it's like this, there's an interesting duality of extremes, and that's why I think, you know, that challenge with Temperance here, finding the balance is going to be a little bit more difficult in 2020 for you. It's gonna require some extra work. in order to really get to this level of the Empress and what she has to offer, Libra, it really, much of it this year in 2020 does depend on your willingness to accept the change and constant evolvement. And there's a sense of getting closure with things, and the closure being sure a little uncomfortable, but what's really going to help you through all this too is, this Queen of Wands energy, I feel like, and of course your Page of Cups, of connecting to your psychic senses and really just listening, as cats do, listening as the page is to the fish speaking from this cup. Yeah. And have no fear. Your Venus blessings, the planet that rules you, will show up. Gorgeous, Libra. Some of it intense, sure. But I'll be excited to hear from you Libras to see how things are going and how this is manifesting in your life. But Libra, do be sure to check your rising and moon sign for more details. Your rising especially is considered more strong, with, at least within the professional astrology circles. So be sure to check that for more details. And if you do want to do a personal soul purpose reading or any kind of personal reading with me, get in contact with me. Information will be in the descriptions. And there you have it. Take care, Libras.